I started Retry about a year ago doing an indie game called Cave Story. And you know what? It's a year later, it's time to do another great indie game.
Super Meat Boy!
Welcome to episode 48 of Retry. Today we're looking at one of my new personal favorites, Super Meat Boy, available on PC, Xbox Live, and very soon, Mac and Nintendo WiiWare. Although this is a new game that came out end of 2010, it's just my style for games I like to review. As you can see here, it's clearly a throwback game. Super Meat Boy is kind of a 2D platforming action game where you have to save your girlfriend, Bandage Girl, from the evil Dr. Fetus. Wow, that's not a sentence I thought I'd say today. The game is hard, but the setup is simple if you're man enough to try this game out. You start in the first world, the forest. You have to beat a certain number of levels to move on to the boss, and each level is in 2D as you see here, and all you got to do is get to your girlfriend. If you complete it fast enough, you'll get an A+ rating, and that unlocks the dark version of the same world. The dark version of the levels are much more difficult, they add more hazards, and as you can see here, added saw blades, easier to die. But that's really what it's about with Super Meat Boy. It's all about the challenge and the difficulty. Although it starts slow to kind of get you into it, this game is unapologetically difficult, and it gives you a real sense of accomplishment when you beat each level. Compared frequently to classic 2D platformers like Mega Man 2, Super Meat Boy was developed by Team Meat both for the PC and console. The star of the game is the skinless Meat Boy who bleeds constantly, and as the levels get more and more covered with blood with each failed attempt to try to get Bandage Girl, Dr. Fetus always appears at the end of each level to steal her away from you. You may ask yourself, why is Dr. Fetus full of all this hate? Why is he doing this? And I answer, because he's a dickweed. And that's it. It's beautiful. Each individual level is made up like a challenge that you have to wall jump and run your way through to try to get to the end. Although here, you see something a little different. No lie, first time that happened, I was like, what the hell is going on here? Warp Zones are a series of bonus levels that take Super Meat Boy even deeper into the realm of nostalgia. As you see here, the next few levels, the graphics have changed to more of a 16-bit style like Super Nintendo gameplay, and even the music and the theme has changed to match kind of the low tech of these levels. Unlike the unlimited number of retries you get with the normal levels of Super Meat Boy, Warp Zones are kind of like bonus levels. You're given 3 lives to complete each level to make it on to the next one, and if you can't, you're sent back to the level select screen to start over. You don't have to beat these stages to get to the boss level, but they're still a fun diversion nonetheless. I will say it's worth it to beat those Warp Zones. You get bonus bandages, and in some cases, defeating a series of warp levels actually unlocks new characters to play. Adding to the replay value of just beating the regular level and the dark level, you can actually go back through and beat it with different characters that have unique playstyles. Super Meat Boy has a bunch of original characters to unlock that were made just for this game. On top of that, you've also got characters making an appearance from some famous indie games and even the head crab from Half-Life. Probably one of the coolest inclusions is the kid from I Wanna Be the Guy. I gotta talk a little bit about their newest release playable character, Super Tofu Boy. PETA decided that they wanted to make a parody game to protest the release of Super Meat Boy. At first, the creators of Super Meat Boy on their blog were explaining how honored they were that PETA would take any interest in them at all, and that the fact that this parody game was out there didn't bother them at all. Then, they even admitted that they had created a fake user profile for the PETA message boards and had been kind of fueling the flames, kind of warning everyone about this evil meat game that was out there and about how PETA should make a stand and make a parody game against it. Now that PETA has officially designed the game, makers of Super Meat Boy made Super Tofu Boy an official character in their game. Super Meat Boy had some pretty humble beginnings, starting 2 years ago as a flash game called Meat Boy on Newgrounds.com. It may surprise a lot of people that a game this bloody and dark actually got its big break from Nintendo. Nintendo saw how many people were playing this great game and ended up wanting it for their WiiWare. Since then, Team Meat was born, and they have been cranking out content and developing Super Meat Boy for as many systems as they can. Super Meat Boy was designed by Ed McMillan and programmed by Tommy Refenis. Let me just say up front, if I mispronounced either your names, I apologize, especially to Tommy Refenis, who in the About Us section on the Super Meat Boy webpage admits to killing hobos outside of Taco Bell. Hey man, I might live near you, so I don't want to piss you off. I'm not taking any chances here. I'm easily confused with homeless people, and I love Taco Bell. If you saw my preview fail video for this game, you're already going to know this, but after you beat each level, you get a replay. And what's so awesome about it, it's not just a replay of your success, it's a replay of all your failures too. It's really a badass feature of the game. I mean, the more you screw up, the more psychotic your replay gets. It's outstanding. You may be curious, why is this game being developed for PC and Mac, the Nintendo Wii and the Xbox 360, but it's not coming out on any Sony system? Sony initially didn't have any interest in the game, and after Team Meat signed with Nintendo and Microsoft and started developing the PC version, they have since said that contractual obligations will keep them, unfortunately, from ever releasing this game on a Sony system. Don't be an elitist gamer. If you're watching this video, I know you got a computer and you can play it on that. Now I'm going to shut the hell up and allow you to see the first epic boss battle of the Forest World. What you're seeing here is not my first try, but you know what? It was a hell of a lot of fun to play through this level, and you get quite a sense of accomplishment when you finally beat it for the first time. The beginning of Castlevania is the target of the next spoof here, as we go into the next world, the hospital. Try not to get stuck with any hypodermic needles. I've got to take a few moments to give some props to the music of this game. The music was composed by Danny Baranowski, and you know what? It really complements this game well. It's fast-paced but not screaming, so it gets you pumped to play, but it never overtakes the action going on screen. If you want to know if Super Meat Boy is worth buying, ask yourself this simple question. Do you love retro games? Because if you do, the answer is yes. This game currently has a 90 out of 100 score on Metacritic. Game Informer gave it a 9 out of 10. The official Xbox magazine gave it a 10 out of 10. IGN has it ranked 9 out of 10. GameTrailers.com, 9.1 out of 10. Do you see a theme here? This is not a game that a mere mortal like myself could sit down and beat straight through, but every time I play it, I'm able to get a little bit further into the game, and that's why everybody loves it. Even though it's insanely difficult, it's balanced so well that even casual gamers can make progress. Normally this is the part where I go on and on about eBay and secondhand stores, but that's not the case with a new game like Super Meat Boy. You can buy this sucker right now on Xbox Live or Steam for the PC for about $14.99. The game will also soon be available on the Mac and Nintendo's WiiWare, so keep an eye out for that. If you want more information on this great indie video game title, check out www.supermeatboy.com for their official site. Thanks for watching. For VideoGameSaga.com, this is Tony B, and I'm out. Retry? You know it.